What's up, everyone? Aaron Nagler here for PackersNews.com. I'm here with Michael Cohen. Michael, in Lambeau Field, watched practice. Whole bunch of guys on the injury report today, Michael. But let's just stick with the new ones. We knew who was injured during the game, but two new injuries popped up on the report today.
Yeah, so one was Nick Perry with a hand injury, and the other was Jake Ryan, who is in the concussion protocol. And, starting with Perry, that's a really intriguing one for me because this is a guy that has a history of hand problems. Don't forget, this was a guy that had to wear a club for the second half of last season, essentially. Now, I don't know if it's the same hand. I don't know if it's even the same injury because Perry was not in the locker room after practice. But, if it's the type of deal where he has to wear another club, yes, he has experience there, but obviously that's not ideal for your best outside linebacker against the run. And with Jake Ryan, we've seen that him and Blake Martinez have really played the majority of snaps at that position. So if he's not there, it means more playing time for Joe Thomas, which means less effective stopping the run. And so it's really a trickle-down effect with those two guys because inside and outside linebacker are not very deep positions for the Packers.
Well, you talk about depth at outside linebacker. A guy who is all of a sudden out of the concussion protocol is Ahmad Brooks. Bit of fortuitous timing there, but you got to think increased practice reps for him this week. And if Perry's injury is serious, you got to expect to see a little bit more of him on Sunday, right?
Absolutely. I think this is a guy that they would essentially like to play almost starters reps every week, similar to how, if you go back the last couple of years, they basically had three starters with Matthews, Perry, and Julius Peppers. Those guys essentially all played enough reps to where they could be constituted as starters. And I think in a perfect world, they'd love to find that role for Brooks as well, not only just because he provides them, some veteran presence and a guy that they know what they can expect out of him, but he also gives them a little bit of versatility. He can play with his hand down. He can play standing up. I mean, heck, he even began his career as an inside linebacker, so they could even try something with him rushing from the inside. So I think they would love to get him on the field a lot this weekend, especially against an opponent that, doesn't have a great offensive line, so he can really start to get into the flow of Dom Capers' defense.
Now, one final thing on the injury front, Mike Daniels did not participate today, and hard on that news came word from our Ryan Wood that they are bringing back Ricky Jean Francois. Is it too early to start connecting those dots?
I don't know if it's too early to start connecting those dots because I think there's obviously some correlation, but I think to say that it's significant enough to where Daniels needs to go on IR or anything like that would be taking those dots a little bit too far. Because don't forget, I mean, there's plenty of examples across the NFL of essentially rent-a-players where guys come in and play 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then they're cut again while somebody heals up. So all indications right now are pointing toward Mike Daniels having an injury that is not season-ending. So I don't think it's unfair to connect that adding Jean Francois is because Daniels is hurt, but I do think it might be a little too early to panic and say, oh my gosh, Mike Daniels is out for the year. So that's kind of where I think it stands with those two guys.
Well, there you go. All the latest from Lambeau Field. Make sure you're checking PackersNews.com for all the latest. For Michael, I'm Aaron. We'll talk to you soon.